Welcome to Shelor Select. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
All right, we got none other than the man himself, John, tonight. What is going on, buddy?
My man, Shizuman Chris Hughes. How you doing, buddy?
Man, good, man. Trying to do big things here in the end of this 2020, man.
I hear it, dude. It's a year to do it because it can only go up from here because to hell with this year.
Is that what they're saying, right?
Shit.
We haven't started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, there's a guy. He did that once.
He did that
Did
once.
some drinks.
Speaking of that, you brought us something to sip on, huh?
A little bit of something. Jefferson's Grand Selection. It's got a French oak finish, so you know what? It's nice, smooth, ease into Christmas kind of.
Yeah.
Something. So
Well,
let's try some of it.
All right, I'm down. Got us some 2 glasses here.
Yes, sir.
Pour me up, big dog. Oh, shit. Cool.
Man.
Cheers it up.
Yes, sir.
Right, skip. We can give it a. Hey, I get a little
There it
clink
is.
there. So. Well, you want to tell everyone kind of? I know you're actually the second guest, other than James, to be on here. So,
I think it's episode 4, right?
the episode number 4, and usually just people from the gym are listening, I think, right now. But
That's all right.
so anyway, for those who don't know
Legacy
you,
that don't go to the gym.
yeah,
But
go ahead.
yeah, Jonathan Anderson, Chris and I went to college together.
Are you,
Got a
baby?
few stories, maybe not shared here on the mic tonight, but it was all good and
Man.
kept in touch. Both doing big things and
Man.
figuring it out.
So where you at right now?
Let's see here. Physically, Christiansburg for the month, and then North Carolina for a while, and then we'll see.
So it's just kind of depending on the time and what's your job, where you're going to be at. And
Yep. Right now I'm just chasing tail, and by that I mean living with the missus. She's going to school in North Carolina, and then she'll wrap up, and when she gets a job, we'll
Yeah.
go there.
yeah,
IT, baby. I live anywhere.
nice. So is that what you started doing intentionally right out of college, right out of Radford?
Let's see. Right out of college, it was AT&T door-to-door business sales. I was like, "Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm here with Winstead Marketing on behalf of AT&T. Here to check your account to make sure you're getting the most value out of your promotions and services. Do that 80 times a day for several months, and you will never get out of your head."
So go door to door doing that?
Do door-to-door business. I was actually riding shotgun with the guy who was teaching me. We're in the ATL. We're in a strip mall. He said, "You take the right, I'll take the left." He went into a pawn shop. Apparently, the dude had heard our spiel before and
Yeah.
got upset, brought a gun out, and told that dude if he was still there by the time he went out to the front door, he'd shoot him. So we ended up not making any sales that day. But, it happens.
So how long did you do that for, dude?
Well, let's see, I did that for a few months. Actually got my pseudo young man dream job. I was a rep at a liquor store outside of Knox Vegas.
I think I remember you doing that.
I did that for a fresh 2 weeks, and then started my professional career as a subcontractor for Eastman back in Northeast Tennessee, Kingsport.
Okay.
And did that for a couple of years to kind of get my IT legs under me.
Sure.
And then I've been bouncing ever since. Been going DOD contracts, non-DOD contracts. Just
So
running
sort
around.
of like a subcontractor for the government? Is that kind of what
Did
it
that
is?
for a while. Doing that now.
With the DOD contracts and stuff. So yeah.
Well, it's fun. You gotta fight the government. Make sure that they get the most for their dollar and that we get the most for ours paying taxes.
Oh, hell yeah. You got any good inside government stories that you want to tell us about?
Nothing good.
Oh,
Nothing
like you want to
good.
talk about aliens?
Well, so this is the second time this year that aliens are like, "Oh, we're here." Nobody gives a shit. Like, we're barely able to figure out if they're going to microchip us with the coronavirus. And,
Oh, shit.
There's 2 tribes, people that are like, "Please don't give me MS," and the other tribe that's like, "I would literally eat 3 yards of dog shit if it meant I could go party in the club again." So,
Well, do you think that nobody's caring about the aliens because we got corona and all this going on, and now they're like, let's bring out the alien stuff? Like, it's kind of weird. Like the Pentagon announced they actually have found
Right.
UFO stuff, not from this planet or whatever.
So it's exactly that. We've been so trained by the media to say, "Hey, be afraid, go buy toilet paper," that now any of the fun stuff that's coming out, we don't care.
Yeah.
The murder hornets, they were there for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, that like right the second or third month of corona or something.
And then you had, let's see here, it was aliens, Russia and China messing with us for a while or
Yeah.
doing whatever. and then who's going to win. There was the Black Lives Matter movement that I think is still going.
Yeah.
Not as strong, though, now that it's post-election and the media is like, oh, everything's great now. But,
Yeah, well, everyone, got what they wanted. They wanted Trump out and Biden in. And so now that's what calmed them down, I guess, right?
I guess, people, there's a lot on both sides that aren't happy about it because you get a good, strong movement going forward, and then it kind of tapers off because of the political climate changing. But then it was changing for a less aggressive, less, the world organization hating us a little less because we're no longer being represented by a very bolsterous young man. I guess I want to call him that, in his 70s, who's spent, the last 50 years being rewarded for bad behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the year? He was an asshole in Home Alone 2. Nice
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
movie. And,
Forgot about that.
He's made millions, lost millions, and the whole time it's all because he's able to be an asshole.
Well, back in the day, he was always in all the rap songs. And,
Yeah.
I don't know if they were loving him or hating him or just wanting just because he had the money.
Yeah,
that's what they were rapping about mainly.
all the money.
And plus, he just doesn't care who he pisses off and stuff. And
No.
I don't know if that's a mentality or what.
Yeah.
But for a guy who drinks, or what does he eat, McDonald's all the time or whatever, and he kicked Corona, but I'm sure he was getting some extra little help from all the.
Was it stem cell? That was like a stem cell concoction or something. It wasn't bleach.
That's the wrong guy. Yeah. Yeah, please don't drink the bleach. No, I don't know if it was stem cell or what, but it was. They had it.
No. It was plasma taken from people who had Corona and beaten it. That's exactly what it was, not stem cell.
And they were pumping him for that?
Yeah, it was post. So it was supposed to be plasma that had the antibodies, but didn't, of course, have the blood type in it, so you don't get the coagulation issues. But it was an interesting, not proponent, but an interesting approach to trying to kick the COVID.
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
He got it over in no time. It was probably less than 2 weeks.
I forgot about it like Biden.
Man, but it's so fucking weird, how everybody reacts to it different.
I mean, there's people in the Mrs. family that can't smell. Or not family, it's a friend of hers. Can't smell. And...
because she contracted Corona?
Got COVID, got better, but just can't smell now.
From here on, how long has it been?
A couple months.
Still can't get her smell? What about taste? You still have the taste?
I don't know.
Damn.
But it's, some people are in and out and fine. I think it's, is it England? Southern England got a special type of COVID. New Zealand, of course, was doing fine. They bumped up after day 102, but then they're back to normal, keeping people out of the Shire.
Yeah, I heard a bunch of different stories. India had a different strain. Then I heard, here in America, East Coast had a different strain than the West Coast. But I don't know how much of that is true. But
exactly,
that's what I was reading in the old internet, or getting it from other podcasts.
Well, you get it. There's so much information, misinformation, that it's, who do you ask? For us hanging out, that's not a good idea because we should be social distancing with a mask, definitely not drinking. Other people's oh, it's a hoax, which, those flat earthers can stay at home, in my opinion, but they're going to be running around doing Karen shit. But it's just, you gotta live your life the best you can. You got to take measured risks. Just keep pushing through. I'm not gonna, me personally, I'm not gonna stay inside all the time, but I have the benefit, fortunately, of being able to work from behind a computer. So I can stay at home. But I know a lot of people, friends and family that work, police, military, the hospital industry, especially in this area. These are people that are some days going in and not being exposed once or twice, but multiple times throughout their whole days. And the NRV from Roanoke down, the beds are full. People are having to be out sometimes in beds in the hallway, and people are breathing, they're just getting around, and it's a lot of risk and a lot of respect to those people who are doing that work. So I
agree 100%. It's tough.
I couldn't imagine being a cop. It's like you're going to go to a house, wait, I got to wear a mask. I don't have to wear a mask. What's the rules? And you never know the rules from a societal standpoint. Every day it's, what are we going to do? I'm not afraid.
It's always something different.
Some days, and depending on which state you're in, because it's I got family that lives in Northeast Tennessee that I'm trying to see, but if you go across state borders, sometimes you need to self-quarantine, which is easy for somebody like me because I'm getting behind a computer.
Yeah.
But you get somebody like my lady who's going to school, and it's like, well, do we have to do it 14 days before she goes back to school? What's the frequency of testing?
Right.
Do obviously you limit the amount of people that you interact with. You call people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the year for, sorry, grandma, here's a phone call and I love you. But,
Yeah, I mean, my family already had to cancel their side of Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. And my grandma's like 86 or 7 and hurts you, man, because that's like her time to bring everyone together. But
it's it.
Yeah. And, it's one of my biggest things. I'm afraid. I think if I got it, I would probably be okay.
You just sexy it away. Like, boom.
I hope so, knock on wood. But my biggest thing is like giving it to somebody else and feeling it like a fucking dick bag.
Right. And that's, catching up with the comorbidities is really, it's those people that need to be protected, that you got to be a little bit socially aware. I'm all about, doing your own thing, being your own man or woman, projecting yourself in a way of confidence and living your life, and sometimes just saying F you to the man. But there comes a time where don't be a dick. Like, just wear a mask. Like, I ain't asking you to put on a full hazmat suit.
Exactly.
I mean, I ain't asked nobody ugly to wear a tarp. Shit. I'm just saying put on a mask. Not if you're ugly, but for COVID.
I like that one. But no, I mean, yeah, that's what I don't get. Like, I don't personally like wearing a mask, but if it makes other people feel comfortable, that's fine. I'll wear it all day long. No big deal. Right. Like, there's bigger issues out there. I mean, I'll be okay. And plus, I'm in and out of a store or whatever in 10, 15 minutes. All right, I can do that.
Go in, go out, done.
Yeah, right? You don't have to sit there. I'm not walking into Kroger spitting in people's faces and like...
Or licking fruit and being like, hey, like, why would you do that? It's like, oh, I think I might have COVID. I was like, Jesus Christ, I know you got downs, but you can't spread that, thank God.
Did you hear about some of the universities actually having COVID parties and stuff?
Well, that was early on the get.
Yeah.
And,
I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Well, you get a group of young people that are like, okay, we're going to hit herd immunity, and I'm trying to go off the idea that they're not complete morons. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, we're going to go get herd immunity. We're in the least risky position to be able to catch this, be done with it, and go forward. I was like, okay, I get that. But then you don't know enough about this virus, the long-term side effects. Like, we've not been able to see what's going on in terms of, decreased lung function over 5 years. I mean, we can't even do it over 1 year. We don't know if it's decreasing cardiovascular output. Mm-hmm. Like, your heart's at like 80% now that you got COVID. Congratulations. You're going to be winded every time you run. I mean, I'm winded now, so... it's rough.
It's tough.
But if the whole thing got the world to start washing their damn hands, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Exactly. Actually, they get a little cleaner going on.
Yeah. People are like, oh, I didn't know I needed soap and toilet paper. It's like, God, if you didn't know now,
it's like,
I'm glad you found out.
Yeah, we're not living in the dark ages anymore. Like, come on, man. Well, yeah, like I was talking about the other day, like there's still people hiding from like Y2K.
So, all right, you said that.
Yeah.
And I heard that.
Yeah.
And I hate to say I believe it, because there's no point in time that people...
Hey!
He understands. Like, there's always somebody that's going to latch on to the belief of absolute absurdity. It's like, oh, Y2K happened, I'm going to be in a bunker. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, if you've been there that long, I think you're okay now. Mm-hmm. Like, regardless. Like, you're either going to stay there because you're in it to win it.
You got to, right?
Well, hopefully not if you got kids. Like, imagine...
Well, you bring your kids down there and everything, right?
What do you think about Brendan Fraser?
The Blast from the Past movie? Yeah. I mean, but I think if, you're building a bunker and just for that reason, it's like, hey, this is for my whole family. You're just not out for your own self, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're out for your, singular family unit, I guess, unless you're, got like a underground community, which that's, Las Vegas style.
Las Vegas style.
You know about that?
No.
So Las Vegas, to keep their homeless population off of the streets, actually have built, well, I don't know if they built it on purpose, but their sewer system houses over 2,000 homeless at this time, maybe more now.
So they're putting homeless people in their sewers.
Well, so homeless people, the sewers are nice enough that homeless people can live down there. And there's a large population, but that's why you never see them on the streets in Las Vegas as opposed to
like
LA
DC,
and New York,
San Francisco,
Miami, San Fran. So it's
well, how can you live in a fucking sewer?
Well, they pop up. They don't. They're not relegated to the basement, but it's
like you just go down there to sleep and eat.
Got their stuff down there. Google it sometime. It's crazy.
I've never even heard about Las Vegas doing that.
It's like mole people. But again, they come up, they kind of do their business, and it's I think at times more sanitary than if they were on the streets of New York. No offense to New York, but I'm just saying.
Well, is that one of the keys to actually fixing the homeless thing in this country?
It is as close to free housing that any city has gotten to, which is sad. So
yeah, I mean, it's usually just we'll build tent cities or whatever and just prop them up there.
So think of it like an underground concrete tent city, but still, you got only so much room and space that is also not accounted for. Like they didn't build this solely with that in mind. Like it's a two-part. It is a sewage system. So
right,
it's weird, and we get trillions of dollars coming in and out of the economy. Some businesses are essential, some aren't, depending on if you're Lowe's. But I do appreciate the fact that they were keeping people occupied and that people were building stuff and doing all the home add-ons and moving in, selling out, and all that. But at the same token, people have been moving and shaking. The economy's been going, jumping along. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have found new jobs, opportunities in college because all of that going around.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, well, why am I going to pay full college tuition for a college experience where I'm sitting at home behind my laptop?
Right.
I'm sorry, University of Phoenix just went out of business. Timing was shit in that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Was it Trump University and Phoenix at the same time? Because people were like, I don't believe in online university. Boom, 2020. Like 2 years later.
What?
So.
Damn, that's tough times, man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it needs to happen, too, because universities are just outrageous with their tuition now. I mean,
an economist that's either Harvard or for Yale or Princeton, one of the Ivy Leagues, that said there's no other industry since the 1950s that has done so little to improve their business model, but has garnered the increased costs associated with it, as well as the return on investment depreciation. So used to, even in like the 70s and 80s, you would go to college and you're like, I'm going to spend 10, 15 grand.
right.
But I'm going to get a job that's immediately netting me that much more per annum, sometimes double. So you're looking at like, I get out making 15 versus 35 or 40. It's worth it to burn that year. But now you're going to college, and some of these places are, I don't know what our old alma mater is running for an undergrad.
I should know. I worked there, but like what, 13, 14 grand maybe a year? I
Right?
could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
We'll say a flat 10. We'll say a smooth 40.
Yeah, like it was probably about 10 when we were there.
Yeah. Let's just say a smooth 40.
Okay.
All right.
And that's if you go 4 years.
That's if you go 4 years and you graduate. But now all of a sudden, you graduate and you're like, well, man, I hope I make 40 a year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that's not in addition to your income. That's, 40 flat. And so it hasn't, the cost of doing business has not increased commiserately with the price that you get. And people are just like, why not start my own business? People are doing, starting their own business, doing podcasts, for instance.
Yeah.
And, the gaming industry, I think Radford and ETSU finally have their first, it was last year, started doing e-games as a legitimate college scholarship.
And I think it should be almost, too.
Yeah. Dude, I wish I'd have gotten that when I was playing.
Yeah, like that's when we were back and going to school. That's what I tell a lot of my friends. So we used to play Gears of War and stuff like on during this party and drink or whatever. But still, yeah, like kind of what you're saying. Like that was the narrative of me growing up, is that you got to go get an education to make money.
Right.
Like if and the more schooling you get, obviously the more money you'll make coming out. And and that was obviously that I maybe back in what, like you said, the 60s all the way up to 80s ish before internet was big, because colleges, like they had all the books, they had all the places you had to go and learn everything. Where now internet, I can go Google anything I want to. I was YouTubing stuff on how to do a podcast.
See,
that's where I learned everything mostly.
MIT,
what others were doing.
Yeah. MIT offers free classes, so they'll put their classes online, and it's specifically targeted for poor communities that maybe people want to be able to learn a subject but don't have access to anything other than a streaming internet. And they obviously don't give you a degree if you attend all the courses, but
it's like a certificate.
No, but it's the knowledge. So they're basically like, we're giving you the knowledge for free. We don't expect anything in return. You don't have to give us a shout out or anything. It's just like, here is our knowledge. Do with it what you will. And MIT, again, is one of the most prestigious and hardest to graduate universities in the country.
So what kind of classes are they offering? Is it just
different
is it their engineering? Is that technology? Yeah, Institute of Technology.
Is it? Yeah.
Technology
Michigan?
in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Boston.
Yeah. Boston. I got my khakis in my pants. So.
So you don't. So you take this course for free, a course, but I mean, can you put it on your resume? Do you have anything you know?
You just have the knowledge, and again, it's to be able to say, okay, now I have the working knowledge to be able to do something like a trade. Trade schools are blowing up right now because people. It's like, hey, I got my degree in fine arts with a sub in Latin. All right, great. I'm still going to charge you $40 an hour as a plumber to fix your pipes that just burst.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't make that now living in a big city where rent is too damn high.
Yeah, like New York. You're just packed on top of each other, just paying for like a room this big for like what, a grand plus?
Oh, great. Grand let you walk past a room like this and look at it and say, thank you, sir. I mean, they're what? DC is still slightly cheaper even with the Amazon move-in. And I know people getting 900 square feet for 1,500 to 1,800, depending.
What do you mean Amazon moving? Amazon moved to DC or
So
put
Amazon,
a HQ up there?
So a couple years ago, Amazon was doing their big HQ move. And
Okay.
they're like, we're going to put one of our HQs in a city, and they had the city's bid against it. It was kind of weird, and New York didn't like it and flat out told Amazon, well, you can choose us or not,
Right.
but F you. We're
Right.
not going to bend to your will. So Amazon said, all right, DC. Here we come. So 20,000 high-paying fresh jobs came to a place that already has a ton of high-paying jobs. The housing market went from ridiculously high to super high. And, it's just, it went from, I think it was like a 15-20% increase over 3 years.
Really?
How do you do that? And already a place that was, when I was living up in the Northern Virginia area, you get a 3-beddy, like 1,700 on an apartment. So it was something.
How big was the apartment? There's 3 bedrooms?
Three bedrooms,
Like small?
1,200 square feet maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Further.
This was like the living room.
I was going to say,
seriously,
that's
this was
roughly
the
the size of my crib.
Yeah.
Wow.
For like nearly $2,000.
Damn. So that's when Amazon was going up there.
Yeah, Amazon's there now. They're doing their thing.
Weren't they trying to move to Blacksburg or put something in Blacksburg?
So I just found this out, funny enough, we're talking about plumbing. I just found out that Pulaski, I think it's Pulaski, is putting up a solar farm in order to hopefully draw business to this area. So I'm hoping that it goes through well. And they got some farmers on board. So I think it's a 10 or 30-year lease. And they're going to put up, the solar farm to be able to produce electricity, hopefully draw a big business.
Okay.
So, Southwest Virginia, when I was but a young man, was already thinking about fiber. Put a fiber backbone in 2007 to 10 range.
Yeah.
I got fiber at my parents' house that's almost as fast as when I was living up in Arlington, and it's ridiculous. And they live out in nowhere.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
Like, and they have fiber internet
They
there?
have fiber.
We don't even have fiber internet in Radford.
Right. So somebody was looking into the future, and the more that we get the these cyber backbones, I know it didn't work out so well. What was the Tennessee? Was it Memphis? Either Memphis or no, it was Chattanooga. Chattanooga put the first gigabit backbone of a city in the U.S. and they were hoping to draw a business that did primarily IT, which was the other thing about drawing Amazon. 2000. I just know a lot of random shit because
No, that's good, man.
I try to drink and know shit.
Game
it
of
was
Thrones.
2000. Yeah, back when it was good.
No, I didn't mean to throw you off there.
You made me bitch for days.
I didn't mean to throw you off there. Go ahead.
So Amazon in like 2015 or 16 they lost one quarter. It was like $78 million on their store where
Okay.
you buy shit and you ship it. It was like they lost. It was somewhere in the ridiculous tens of millions that they lost money with that. But they made almost $500 million in a quarter offering their cloud services. And now everything's, Apple started off with the cloud. It's cute, it's nice, everything's great.
Yeah.
And it's all fluffy and nobody knows where it goes. It's a server farm. So AWS has server farms all over. It's great. They really reduce cost of trying to maintain that. It's not a shameless plug for Amazon. I'm just saying that Google's also doing the same thing. So don't hate me, Google. They got my Gmail. They're tracking my shit.
I know what you mean.
But these companies are now growing and doing cloud services, and they're trying to go to places that are traditionally low rent. And it's not because they're looking to exploit poor people in those areas. They're just trying not to pay the outrageous prices.
Yeah.
Now, there is always the added benefit, though, of if you don't have to build your own infrastructure, then you don't have to pay for it. So if you can combine a place like DC that has hubs where, you are getting this true fiber connection or greater versus coming out to a place, Pulaski, Radford, this area, the NRV, and you can pay, 10 cents for every dollar, put up a server farm, tell people that they can buy a house for, you can get a mansion out here for $300K. And, 700K, you couldn't get a crack house in DC almost.
Oh, for sure.
You might be able to, but it's going to not.
It's not
there's going to be tenants already
nothing
there.
Pretty.
No. And, it's good to be able to see places do the investment to grow, and hopefully it'll even, bring down the cost of power, electricity for the people in this area. And, high tide raises all ships. The more people who get into jobs that are, in a field that deals with transportation technology will have more disposable income, which will allow people who are in trades to have more work to do, because the bigger the house, the more the facilities are there, they're going to have more work to do. And so again, it just brings everybody up, hopefully brings up the cost of living, the wages go up. And I like to see that kind of, the dogs are a little angry.
Yeah.
I like to see that sort of growth going. But I'm a dreamer.
This is kind of what Chattanooga was ultimately trying to do.
They were trying to leverage it. It happened a little bit, but then everybody was like, ah, shit, it's Chattanooga.
So it just never really built to what they thought it would be?
No, you can get good internet there. But, some businesses went there, but it was mostly existing. It kept some businesses, I think, from leaving. And I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head a significant business that was there.
So do you think other cities who are trying to do this, will Silicon Valley slowly start to get away, or Silicon Valley does? Well, you think more people, like a lot of people seem to be already moving from California. DC, you're seeing a large drain from that area because, again, if you don't have to be there, why be there? And so you're getting people to move out into the more rural areas, places that traditionally you have people whose median income would be well less than like $50K. All of a sudden, you're getting an influx of people who may be more than 75, more than 100 even, because they're able now to work from home and do stuff. So now they're buying things from that area. Now, a lot of it, of course, is Amazon shipping stuff in, and that doesn't affect the local economy. But if you get local vendors like, pizzeria, the Grub Hubs now, coming up, and now we can finally get alcohol delivered to our door. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, cheers to that.
Oh, yeah. Salute, brother.
And,
yeah,
the idea that you have more people living in an area that have more disposable income will bring up the ability of that area to provide better services, which, growing up as a kid in Southwest Podunk, nowhere, still kind of like it, Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, the major complaint was always there's nothing to do. Well, why is there nothing to do? Because ain't nobody got no money to do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd you do for dinner? I went to sleep. And what'd you have for dessert? I slept hard.
Slept even harder. No, man. I didn't realize. I'm trying to kind of lost my train of thought, but well, I'm sitting there trying to rack that in my brain right now.
Well, it's all like two major things will affect a area's ability to grow, and that's I guess ultimately it's one thing. It's infrastructure. So you either have your travel infrastructure, or you have now IT, which wasn't available in the 80s and 90s, and even the early 2000s. But
it was just starting to come up.
Yeah. Well, Roanoke, was it Stone moved to Roanoke? Now they're East Coast, West Coast. They're doing their brewing because Roanoke has the natural river system that flows through.
Stone Brewery.
Yeah. Arrogant bastard.
We were talking about this the other week, and maybe that was a brewery I was thinking of trying to go to Roanoke, or did go to Roanoke.
I'm game. I'm ready.
No, they actually kind of switching gears here, but they've had actually a couple of different little small breweries pop up there. Have you been there in a while?
No. I've heard good things.
One's like Big Lick, Golden Cactus, and that Ballast Point was there, but it went out of business, of course. I don't know if it went out of business. I heard two different stories, but I think their main place is based out of San Diego.
Okay, because I still see their beer.
Yeah, I think just that brewery went out. And I think from what I understood, like the place was super nice, and it just completely, they just broke the bank, trying to build it up, make it nice, and it just nobody was, they just couldn't get the business there.
Kevin Costner lied to us. You can build it, but that doesn't mean they'll come.
Damn it, Kevin. No, I didn't mean to switch gears on beer there, but man, yeah.
No, it's good. Talk about Asheville. Asheville's a place that we'll go that direction. Has really built up their infrastructure based on the fact that they're in a beautiful area. My boy got married down there.
Yeah.
And I remember Asheville in the last 5 years, I think, because it was at the time it was like 2017, 16? I don't know. He's been married a while now. But it had already went from a place that people would, like the locals would go to and buy some like artisans and craft stuff. And now, there's condos that are ranging in like the 1.2 million range.
Yeah, that's a nice area.
Yeah. It's gorgeous, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. But they've built it up just around, it's just breweries and food though.
Right.
So it's just all tourist attractions.
Yeah. But now that
there's no really, where do you go work there?
Internet.
That's seriously. Try to get it on IT?
Yeah. You can get, you do your business online. People are starting up, I know Amazon now, you do your fulfillment centers. You can rent space. Like one of the legitimate ways of starting your own business and moving forward was to start a business. And this was before 2020 and the embargoes on China, but you would set up your storefront. You would be able to rent holding space at Amazon, and you would actually have shipments of things come in from China. They would hit that, and Amazon would do the work for you. And then when people bought stuff, they would ship it for you. You would just say, hey, ship this here. And that automation allowed a lot of small vendors access to a very large market. It was popular, worked well. I think it was similar to what Alibaba did.
What is Alibaba?
So Alibaba is what Amazon would be in like Asia.
Oh, so it's their version.
Yeah. So Jack Ma was like a homeless dude and started Alibaba in the 90s, early 2000s. And it blew up. And that's one of the things, if you ever go on their website, you can get like 10,000 glass jars for $1,000 or something. And, it's all that stuff shipped in from China. Now, people who are growing their business and getting things from that, it's like, shipped from an American company. The stuff's made in China, which is, that's the Walmart business model after Sam died. He was a good guy. I liked him. I never got to meet him, but
I never did. I worked
all
there
the
for
stories
like
were great.
3.5 or 4 years. I never met him.
Right? If you did, though, you'd be like, bruh.
What up, Sam?
Yeah.
You got a discount card?
Right? It's like, give me them kicks.
So Alibaba. So they only sell like in bulk?
So
when you say 10,000 glass jars.
So they sell predominantly in bulk. You can buy things like as an Asian consumer, you could buy things probably at a much smaller volume because they're not trying to ship it. But if you're going to ship something overseas, it doesn't make sense to have, 3 plastic whistles shipped. But now 100,000 plastic whistles. All right. You're paying 3 cents a whistle, selling it for 50 cents. All of a sudden, boom, you're making money.
So they do sell internationally, but it's just if you buy 3,000 whistles, like whatever you just said.
And it's also a nice way to be able to network. So a business will have their information on Alibaba. And it's actually the same thing now that Amazon does. So you can go, and again, it seems like a damn Amazon commercial, but, you can go and you can click on a vendor, pull them down and say, okay, this is what I'd like to do. And, go forward with that. And I want to contact this vendor directly. They make glass bottles. Well, I want to make a glass bowl.
Yeah.
Do they do that? Maybe they can. I want to talk to them, and you can work out side businesses that way. But otherwise, you'd have to maybe, Google, go to a place and say, hey, somebody that can do glass bowls. Then you got to go to customer service, and that may or may not be correct. Now you've got a platform that allows you to do the communication much faster, almost in real time. And you can pick your shop, and you can also see, all the information of people are like, oh, they're a great vendor. Oh, these guys are shit. So, knowledge is key, and a lot of ways to grow and make stuff work.
Doesn't matter if you, like you said, the guy was a homeless guy, right?
He was a homeless guy, and he retired. He sold his. He always wanted to be a teacher, apparently. So now he's a teacher.
So he sold Alibaba.
Yeah,
and now he's just.
He's like
a teacher.
He's either top 10 or top 20 wealthiest people in the world.
I was going to say, what? He just had that passion, just to teach. Yeah. Followed your dreams.
He's like, I want to do it. Yeah. He's like, I got ARAB money, so.
I can't ARAB money. Nice. Oh, this was my thought earlier. So we're talking about different companies working from home and stuff. Do you think like, when COVID hit, New York almost became
Ghost town.
exactly. So do you think we're going to see a trend of these big cities, almost people just getting the hell out of there, saying like, I can do, if we're behind a computer, why do I have to come to New York or LA or San Fran to do my job?
Well, it'll be two groups of people. You'll have the people that want to stay because
Just for the city aspect?
they love the city, and you think of what a big city like New York provides. You're talking about public transportation, access to almost any kind of entertainment that you'd want. You want to see a Broadway show?
Yeah, you just walk down the stairs and you're out there and go get us something to eat or go on a Broadway show, like you said, go see a game, anything. Compared to here, you got to drive an hour to do anything.
Yeah, it's like, what do I do? I stuck a stick in the mud because the creek was kind of dry.
Seemed kind of fun.
Yeah, but
you think we'll see that, or like you said, just a divided?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen people leave. I think the people that are in it to win it are there now, and the people that are either on the fence or were going to leave are gone.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are also like, what does post-COVID in the U.S. look like? Are we going to go back to 2019 where we didn't know we had it good?
Yeah.
Or are we going to go to some sort of blended, why do I come into work? Don't know.
Eliminate our carbon footprint and all that.
Yeah. Well, what is it? The first 2 weeks of COVID, we cleaned out. What is it, like LA? You could see the horizon for the first time.
Yeah, like
years.
all the emission or sulfur or whatever it is.
Yeah,
sulfur. Yeah. Like you actually could see a lot of things, and like it was the healthiest air we've ever had in so many years.
Yeah, there were dolphins swimming in Venice, like in the
they came back or something. They haven't been there in years.
No,
I forgot about that.
And it's all over the world. It's like nature is healing.
Yeah, Earth heals itself.
Crystals
and,
were like,
and we're the poison of Earth, and it's not really. Yeah, it's just us, not anything else in general.
Right.
Ain't that what they say?
Yeah. Well,
they.
I mean, I say they, and then I said the women with crystals. I've never seen a man with crystal. I'm waiting, but I just haven't seen one.
Maybe one day, right?
One day.
Who knows what 2021 will bring?
Yeah, dudes with crystals. That's it. And what do? They speak to the aliens. What do you think about this, by the way?
It's smooth. It's real smooth. I'm a Buffalo Trace kind of man or makers, but this I feel like I'm just sipping on, just chilling, man. Got a little kick, and I'm just easy. Like, oh.
Hey, ain't get that.
We were talking about liquor the other day, and being poor in college and what we could buy.
Tin high.
All right, dude, you called it. You called it, brother. Dude, me and James were talking about it. I was like, man, for getting a fifth for like $10 or whatever. God, 10 high was
makes me want to vomit now.
One of the big, dude. Yeah, you just get it back in your mouth, and the worst hangovers you could think of in the morning. But God,
how'd you cure that hangover? Washed it down with a Bojangles spicy chicken biscuit.
Yeah, Bojangles, right?
Bojangles.
But no, man, I wanted like fucking 10 high. Brought back memories, and I was like, God,
dude, I'm pretty sure it scrubbed some of mine.
Shut up. Go ahead, scrub some of yours.
It scrubbed them dead.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, like that, drinking like Busch Light or Natty Light, and just fucking
Keystone Light.
Keystone, man, I forgot they even made that. Hell
dude,
yeah.
that was my coming home beer. We went through 4 dudes, like 2 kegs a week.
Damn.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't get to be the size looking at food and beer.
Yeah, you just don't look at it like this, right?
It's like, nah.
Do you remember? Hopefully Matt Dalton listens to this one. But the time we went down to your town and when you took us out drinking,
dude,
that dude,
I remember
Matt sold his shoes for 100 bones.
Dude, not only did he sell his shoes, but I liked how you guys closed the bar down, which is she closed the bar down, goes into the back, and you guys just walk behind the bar and start pouring yourself drinks.
Well, like there was nobody in there. We're just like, well, what do we do? And they were like, well, we'll just make another drink.
Huh. This last call, half an hour prior, but I think you were listening to Matt negotiate shoe prices.
Yeah, no, we didn't know anything about that, but it was just like, well, we might as well just make ourselves a drink. But then, like, all she did was say, get out of here, don't be doing that shit. And we were just, oh, sorry, we didn't know.
Yeah.
And she didn't know. They didn't call the cops or anything. I was like, fuck. Coming out of that night, I was like,
she's like, well, they tip nice, so I guess one more drink.
Yeah, well, ain't gonna kill him. I remember being young.
Yeah. Good stuff, though.
Yeah, for sure, man. We had a lot of good times. We had a lot of fun in college, I think.
There might have been a time or two.
There's more than a time or two.
Yeah, at least I can talk about.
I'm not saying put it all out here on the air.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how you went and pulled that magic at 7-Eleven. Remember that?
The nose magic?
Ooh.
The diamond ring girl? Or whatever diamond nose?
Dude, I still could not tell you what in the world you said to that girl. And she didn't understand a word either. And you're just like throwing it out like, hey, girl. Like, you gave me the look first. So you give me the look. And you were hammered out of your mind. It's like, what in the world? And you look at this girl. It's like, oh, shit. And you look at this girl. And you're like, hey, girl, I ain't crazy. Yeah, I'll be, I'm just, hot a little bit. Anyway. Like, I can't understand a word you're saying. And this girl looks visibly confused. And she's just looking at you like, what the? And you're like, yeah.
Can't even make out a word, I bet.
Can't make a word. Not a single one. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, shiny nose ring. Clear as a bell. And she looks at you, and no shit, it's like, my nose ring is shiny. You want my number? And I was like, I got to learn at the foot of the master right here.
Dude. Oh, man. I wish it was that easy nowadays. Damn. But nah, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like, I don't even remember any of that probably.
I know you didn't.
Yeah, okay. Probably don't even know if I
asked you about that, and you're like, dude, and you pulled up your phone, you're like, that's what that number is. I don't even think you put word in there. It's like just sort of gibberish.
Yeah. I probably never called that girl. I'm pretty sure I did.
It's all right. Well, I hope she's doing well.
Yeah. If you are listening
I don't know
to
if she's hateful.
Nah, yeah. If you're a mean girl, no. But no, man, that was all I had on my mind was taquitos and see her.
Dude, them quats.
Yeah, dude. Like that was the move back in the day. Get out of BT's and walk over to 7-Eleven and
dude, it was
give me some fucking taquitos.
Help me. Back when before who's it? It's like Highlander Pizza or whatever. Because it used to be Chauncey's. Remember, I called them right before they closed down and said, give me some regulars.
Yeah, Highlander's still here. They moved right there, right across right beside McAdoo's almost.
Okay, yeah, and they're the ones that sell the Highlander rolls.
Yeah. And then Benny's Pizza's here now. I don't know if you know that. And then we got Jimmy John's over there and
like JJ's. So it's coming together.
Yeah, I mean everything's changed though. I mean BT's is still the same, but
the corner at the bottom of the hill doesn't ever seem to be able to do well though, and that's the one where used to be the Asian owned gas station, and then you had Screamers and all that. You can't get anything in there. And
that gas station, I don't even remember the last time I seen it open.
Well, I know it ain't open. I remember.
I don't even know if was it even open during college.
Yeah, because I remember a couple of my boys. Frank Jones was one of them.
Frank,
he turned 21 before I did, and I said, "Yo, man, why don't you go buy me some alcohol? Here's $10."
Yeah,
and he went in there and bought the worst shit imaginable. What was it like? Was it Four Locos still around?
Four Locos, they got big about, I think I remember my junior, senior year.
It was,
because we played that fucking
Ojo Malo. It was a black can with green eyes. It tasted like vomit. It was Ojo Malo. O-J-O. Well, it means bad eye or black eye. And it was, it was like if Tang had hobo sex with Steel Reserve, and they doubled the alcohol that they took straight from 10 High. And I mean, you would drink it, and the only thing that you knew is that if you finished the can, you were getting lit. Like that was the only pro to that. You're like, you're going to be hammered. You're going to be where you want to be on that one. Yeah, you couldn't finish it and stay sober. It didn't matter who you were.
Shit.
But finishing it, that was your crusade.
Look where we are now, just sitting here drinking actually some Jefferson's Grand Selection. Actually some good stuff, right?
I'll take it. I mean,
no doubt, dude. I couldn't imagine like somebody pulled out a bottle of 10 High right now, like, oh.
So, actually, a buddy of mine turned me on to a group I'm going to start checking them out called Whiskey Tribe.
Whiskey Tribe.
They just did a video, and it's on how to improve cheap liquor with tea. And so I'm a big enthusiast of all brewed things. So whiskey, beer, tea, coffee. Like, if you can brew it, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
Maybe not. I'm going to caveat that. There's some weird shit people brew. But, they were taking, I think one of them was Seagram 7, and they were like pouring it over tea to alter the flavor and make it more palatable. I'm game. You've heard those old stories where you take cheap vodka and put it through a Brita filter. Yeah. I've never done it because I'm not an idiot. But I'm willing to, be an idiot once just to give it a shot and say, hey, you know what? I was right to not do this.
I chose wisely. Yeah.
So I was dumb once, now twice. But
so what is it called? Whiskey Tribe?
Whiskey Tribe.
And that's all. Have you've been trying it right now? Or?
No. So there's YouTube group. Same thing.
Oh, okay.
They got a little little place that they do like whiskey demos. They bring people on, they drink whiskey, talk about it. It's pretty neat.
So like kind of connoisseurs, like what do you call the people who drink wine and
sommelier.
there
sir.
you go. Like so is it like the same word for whiskey?
Yes, it's called alcoholic, and we're great people.
So, as he just chugs it. Nice. Nice. No, okay. So is that something you think you might want to get in? You're going to get into?
Well, I mean, I've enjoyed whiskeys for.
Well, I remember it seems like you're always the guy who brought us actually good whiskey whenever, like, it was like, John, come, like, what, after we got out of college and stuff, like, you'd actually bring us, like, some older shit that was like, hey, this is aged, like, 12 plus years.
Look at this. It's like 10 High's older brother. What is it? Not 10 High.
It's like, no, you don't take shots of this. You actually just drink
it.
Yeah. Like, you don't just try to get fucked up on it. It's like, actually, you actually enjoy the taste.
Right.
Opposed to just like, how drunk can I get off this?
I mean, you can get lit off of a good bottle, but you don't have the hangover, and that's a lot.
That's the key at this point in my life, man. I can't do it anymore.
I
don't know about you, but
I crawl. It's like I hydrate before, during, and after.
Yeah, dude. I'm taking like my pills, a couple of hours before I go to sleep, chugging water when I run to the bathroom so nobody sees it or whatever.
Right.
Dude, I'm just like, man, I ain't doing it. I ain't waking up like that anymore.
No, can't. And especially function as a proper adult. And just get up and do things.
My brain just hurts, dude. Like, you know, like I wake up, you know, and it's just, you can just tell the fucking difference. Like, you know, like I choose, like I'll just eat whatever. Like I'm not thinking correctly. Like I can't remember, like half the time when I start getting on this podcast, when I start going, I can't think of anything. But especially when I'm hungover, I'm just like, if you were to say like 2 + 2 is 16, okay, that's fine.
Sounds great, man.
Yeah, man. Sounds right in my book.
You're thinking about not suffering.
Yeah, like it's just like, just make me feel right.
Right. And that brings it back around. I think that hopefully after 2020, 2021, we're going to get to whatever that balance is, and people are going to start suffering because you know, a lot of rough times this year. A lot of people who have suffered from depression, not being able to socialize is one of the few things that can actually cause schizophrenia and insanity. So we haven't seen what the isolation tactics, which are part of public health, have done to public health from a mental health perspective. So I'm hoping that things kind of get to a good balance. The vaccine works without giving people, is it Bell's palsy?
There was some reports like was it like 4 or 5 people got Bell's palsy.
It's like 4 or 5 out of 3,000.
Yeah, it was a small percentage, but still, I mean. So have you got the vaccine?
No.
Are you?
I don't. Well, first of all, it's not been offered up to me because I'm not in the healthcare industry. So people, first responders, healthcare, police. So first responders include police, firefighters, healthcare are on the short list to have the vaccines, and of course Congress. Which, if there was ever a group of people I want to have test out the virus or the vaccine to see if it works.
See if they get it.
I'm good. As a matter of fact, they can test out every version of it beforehand. I'm cool with that.
So if I had somebody come over to the house, do you think you would take it right now? The vaccine?
I don't know. Because, I mean, it'd be kind of weird. Somebody coming over to the house late at night and be like,
well,
shot of that vaccine. I'd be like,
metaphorically speaking.
Like, we're old boys.
No, I say I was rich and famous, had a special doctor who could hook us up. And
I mean,
like, is it the
I'd have to
Pfizer?
consider it.
Pfizer?
Pfizer and couldn't tell you the other one.
It starts with an M, I think.
It's the one, well, I think that might be the one that just came around either this year or last year. Like, there's a group. It's very peculiar that one of the groups, and I'm not going to go into conspiracy, I'm just saying that one group that has a lead on the vaccine happens to be a group that's less than 2 years old as a company. So it's kind of interesting. But again, aliens, twice in 1 year, nobody gives a shit. So.
Exactly. And the big metal rod came up out of nowhere in Utah or whatever.
Oh, yep. Nobody gives a shit about Utah.
Exactly. But anyway, so you think you would consider taking it right now?
I consider it. I mean, it's a vaccine. It's a weird concept that people are so terribly afraid of a vaccine when we've spent the last 150 years-ish, maybe more. When was the first vaccine was smallpox. And that was when they started introducing cowpox as a shot. And that was, I couldn't tell you that dude's name off the top. But that was one of the first vaccines. And people were like, oh, you mean I'm not going to die? And then it's like, oh, MMR. Oh, I'm not going to get measles, mumps, or rubella? Sign me up. I don't want to get chickenpox shot. We don't want to get hepatitis. We don't want to get tetanus. We take tons of vaccines, except for the anti-vaxxers. And I feel like they're not going to have to be worried about too long. They're either going to be in their
Something's
bunkers or, something.
Weed themselves out.
Yeah. But it's this of the strains that are, not the strains, but I guess the vaccines that are being tested, one of them is actually a new technology, and it affects the RNA. I couldn't tell you how it works, but the reason that it's so or getting so much skepticism is because of the pushback of the type of technology. It's never been used before. It's not the traditional, we're going to take a virus, beat the shit out of it, put it into a vial full of mercury and go, which, the anti-vax moms are like, oh my God, heavy metals. And I'm like, look, I get it. Eat a lot of cucumbers for 3 weeks. You'll be fine. Get it right out of you. It's naturally occurring silica. You'll be good. But
is that the fix for that? Eat a lot of cucumbers? I've never heard that.
So silica is supposed to help keep the DNA ties on the end of your DNA together, and it's supposed to prolong old age. I just know my grandma was hateful as shit and ate a bunch of cucumbers, so something's in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a fix there. What's that?
Oh, there it is.
45 minutes?
It's our 1 hour mark, baby.
Oh, 1 hour.
So
call it there?
Getting close.
Okay.
But I think that if the vaccine, if it's like the old tech of vaccine came in, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I mean, I took the flu vaccine this year because there's nothing worse than having allergies because of God. So this shit hit. I've got allergies.
I do too.
And I'm just snotting and sneezing around. People are like, he's got the Rona.
Yeah, oh God,
dude. I ain't got the Kung flu, bro. I'm fine.
What do they say? Like, if you sneeze or cough in public now, it's equivalent to shit in your pants.
Right. Well, I like the one where it's like if your mask is on your nose, it's the equivalent of having your dick out. I look at those people. I'm like, why? I'm like, why bother? It's it's like putting on the women with the sheer shirts and no bra. It's like I get that you're required to, but I feel like that's skirting the rules in a way that ain't right.
So this is your first year getting a flu shot?
No. I mean,
so you always get it?
No. I'll get one every couple of years, basically when I remember to.
Yeah.
But, again, I'm like the concept of staying away from people and washing my hands wasn't new. So.
Dude's clean.
Yeah.
No, I got my flu shot this year for the first time in my life. And
wow.
Yeah. And I just thought kind of what you were saying, like, this might be the year, like, maybe I should start kind of taking another chance or not taking really a chance, but take a chance on it. Like, I've always heard that, I'm saying this really stupidly, but if you get the flu shot, you get sick.
So there's a chance there
is a chance because they inject you with the flu.
So they give you a low grade, or most of the time it's either a dead or a near dead version of the flu. So you get infected, but it's basically, they beat the shit out of it. They put it in a vial and your body goes, oh, we got this.
Just hammer it.
And then you're good. You got the antibodies and it's figured it out. That is, again, an older style of tech.
Okay.
The oldest, of course, is actually introducing a like-type virus, cowpox versus smallpox. You introduced cowpox, it was close enough to smallpox that by the time your body built up antibodies and you got introduced to smallpox, body just like, nah, we seen you cussing, bro. Nah, we ain't putting up with shit.
Gotcha.
But now it's like an RNA exchange, and again, I'm going to stop right there because I don't know enough about the way that the new one works.
Right.
But because it's so new and it's very atypical from the way that this is introduced, people are concerned, and rightfully so.
Makes sense.
Anytime you're trying out new tech on a virus that has a 0.03% death rate, which I know people personally who have died of COVID. And
you do?
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's not I heard a story about a cousin. So is there a mortality rate? Absolutely. Should it be taken seriously? Yes. Is this something that we need to immediately throw caution to the wind and start vaccinating people? No, but I don't think that's happened. I think that there's been enough tests. I mean, it's a 90%. And you were talking about, so this is the first year for flu that we took the vaccine. You first year, me, probably 2 or 3 at this point.
Okay.
But, the flu, they're only cultivating the most popular strain and what they think is the one that's going to spread around. And so they'll give you that strain. So you can get that. You can be immune to it. And then a different strain hits you and you got the flu.
Right.
Similar to COVID, though we don't know about the mutations. Again, there's one that apparently happened in London, one that may have happened in India, another one in China, but there are mutations. There could be enough of one that this doesn't work, but you'll at least be immune to one strain. And it's going to be a continuing thing. It looks like the exposure and spread rate is going to be similar to the flu. Does that mean that we should, after a year say, nah, we just need to, come what may? No. But does it mean that we're going to be better at dealing with this and move forward as a society, global society at this point?
Sure.
I think so. So it's exciting stuff, man.
It is.
First year that you can smoke weed with your family, but the gathering of your family is the
Hey,
part.
you know what? I think I saw that as a meme. You may have sent that to me, actually. Yeah, you know, it was a good one. But yeah, that's like, that fucking makes so much sense, though.
That's, we do the best we can, and that's it.
Well, how do you feel about the old marijuana, like starting to be, was it legal in 19 states now?
Yeah, we're recreationally legal because it's been 25, 30 states. It's been medically legal.
Right.
And I know people, it was always funny, growing up and you'd see those people be like, oh, look, I got my card. It says I'm medically needed. And I was like, you need a lot? If weed's one, I'm cool.
Yeah.
But, recreationally legal, it's one of those things that it's, people have tried it. People have done it. It's an herb. I've smoked a lot of stogies. I forgot to bring a cigar.
Hey, man, I got little mini ones.
Oh, shit.
Should we light one up?
I mean, it's your house. So,
well, hey, man, if you want to keep talking, man, I'm game.
Might have one more glass, but if you got the stogie, I got the time. Okay, so, here, we'll get you a little more of this.
Hell yeah. Yeah. No,
so, you
got
you
these
get
just little mini ones.
Romeo and Julieta.
Romeo and Julieta.
Do
you smoke a lot of stogies?
I've smoked one or two. But sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Being able to smoke or not smoke ganj and taking the Oregon approach and just legalizing everything, I like the idea, and it's because people who are seeking drugs are doing it either because they've got no other outlet for whatever reason. It could be pain, it could be boredom, it could be PTSD. There's a ton of outlets for a ton of different drugs. We'll dope people up on Oxycontin all day because you hurt your ankle. But somebody wants to smoke a little ganj because they went and pulled their 2 years of service in the military and they got a little PTSD. And I say a little, but I mean full blown. You got PTSD and they're dealing with that, and being able to just ease off and not have nightmares or something, and you can take an herb. But no, that's illegal. Doesn't make any sense to me. And Oregon is
that's what I was getting. My thought was Oregon's already legalized everything, right?
They have, and it's like the idea of taking, and it's a very religious standpoint. People are like, well, I don't believe that someone in their right mind would, what is it? People who do drugs will steal. And I've always said, I never give a shit. Somebody's high as a kite or not. I was like, if somebody comes up to you and punches you in the face, the first thing I was like, if you weren't drunk, I'd accept it. No, you're going to be like, why'd you hit me in the face? I don't care why.
Yeah.
And it's, people being responsible for their own actions. And we've kind of gotten, as a society, at least in the U.S., away from the whole, if you take drugs, then you're not responsible for your actions. Like, why? It's like you took the drugs, you did the actions. Why is there now the separation? And Oregon is a state that's like, look, these people aren't necessarily violent offenders, which is, for the first time, a very clean line of demarcation of people being treated as someone who is taking a substance, either recreationally for whatever reason or not, versus a violent offender. We've had tons of people, shout out to my girl Kamala Harris for locking most of them up in California. Nonviolent drug offenders smoking the ganj, going to jail. I mean, it's perfect from a penal system standpoint. You get a lucrative contract with the state, being able to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, just make a ton of money from the fact that I have a minimum occupancy rule, but I get so much money per head, per person here. And, you just make a ton of money. There's no reason to not lock people up, right? Because at a certain point, then the state starts getting kickbacks, maybe reduce costs, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, there's a lot of private prisons who actually make a lot of money just off
Oh, yeah.
like certain criminal charges, just like marijuana or whatever. And then like prisoners are actually outside their cells having to watch marijuana be sold legally. And like I forget, like Oregon.
Yeah.
Or Colorado's legal there, California.
You can get it legally in D.C. You cannot purchase it, but there's a cute little shop I went into.
You got to have a card or something, right?
No, you don't have to have a card. So here's what they do. I went in with a friend of mine. I was like, how does this work? Because I was like seeing how like these new kind of legal loopholes work. You go in there and you buy a ridiculously priced item. Could be a pamphlet. I think the one guy said, I will be your life coach for 1 minute for $60.
Okay.
With all of my coachings, I'm going to give you, I think it's like a gram or whatever, an ounce or whatever they sell it as, of marijuana of your choice. And you get to choose your gift. Mm-hmm. So by paying them for their service and them gifting you for free, it wasn't a legal or illegal transaction of money for ganj, which was pretty cool. But yeah, you get the idea of now you have Oregon people who are doing drugs. They're, no different than alcohol in some aspects, but they're now being treated instead of violent offenders, people who are going beating their wives or children, animals, people who are running into people, like running them over while they're drunk or sober, doesn't matter. If you mess somebody up in a car crash, you messed them up. Mm-hmm. They're now treating them as, if you want to get help, you can get help. If you don't, we're not going to, call you an a-hole. Some people who may have popped hot on a drug test can't get a job. Well, you can't get a job. What are you doing? I mean, you're going to either steal or you're going to do something to get money to get food. Not a lot of people I know are just going to lay down and die because, couldn't get a job. Guess I'm out.
I tried, but whatever. But isn't there a country? I know it's not. Can't remember if it's Africa or whatever, but they legalized everything also, and then they also started seeing like AIDS go down and crime go down, and there was a lot of pluses to like just saying, hey, yeah, do whatever the hell you want to. It's no big deal anymore.
Well, I don't know.
It starts. Oh God, the girl, she's a journalist for Net Geo. I forgot her name. She does that show like Traffic It or something. Maria something.
It's nice, by the way.
It's not bad, right? It's still a mini cigar.
Excellent compliment to the whiskey, sir.
That's what I think. But yeah, I think my one got too. But anyway, yeah, I think they legalized everything, and all of a sudden, like they started seeing reports like, man, crime's down, like diseases are down,
right?
Like, and it was just like, and like kind of what you were saying earlier, like with post-traumatic syndrome, they've noticed that given those guys and girls like psychedelics, that they've noticed that that's helped immensely with
PTSD.
PTSD. And it was like, man, well, maybe there is something to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done those myself at all, but
you stay clean, stay pure.
Well,
that's clean living. I remember you were talking about that last, like, trying to eat clean, live clean, work out clean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, there are values in my life. And like, I like having drinks and the occasional cigar, but this is not an everyday thing for me because like tomorrow I'm going to work out and plus I'm going to coach a couple of classes, but I'm not against it by any means.
I'm going to work, not out, but I'll work.
Yeah. There you go. But so, yeah. And like, the way when I start performing and throwing weight around, like, yeah, I want to be good at it.
Right.
So, and there's levels to this shit, like with boxing and MMA and basketball and stuff, you can get so far, but there's like, all right, so what do I need to do to make myself better? What are the other champions doing?
I'm excited about that YouTuber fighting Floyd Mayweather. Don't get me wrong. Floyd Mayweather spent the entirety.
The guy who just knocked out Nate Robinson? Jake.
Is that his name? Look, it doesn't matter.
It starts with a J. Damn it.
I'm sure it does.
Okay.
I don't.
I
don't keep up with it.
I need my Googler here.
Right.
But yeah, he's only fought like a couple. Was that a second or third fight against Nate? Did you watch Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight?
No.
Okay.
I didn't want to, even though like Tyson looked like a beast. Like I saw the warm up.
Tyson's a monster right now. To be his age and whatever.
Would you fight him now? Nope.
Not even at his age. I would not even close. But But anyway, continue on with what you're saying. But like he, like after the fight, he knocked out Nate, and it was like a good punch. Like it's actually, like Joe Rogan was talking about, it, like saying, hey, he actually has a little bit of skill, and but he called out Floyd Mayweather, and I think he always called out Conor McGregor too. And I was like, oh, bro,
So
you knocked out an athlete, but he's never really boxed in his life.
I mean, Floyd Mayweather spent the entirety of his career and formative childhood, apparently, never learning how to read, but learning how to box. It is like first of all, he's got legs and lungs for days. He can run around the ring and tire you out. His defense, like if you ever watch, it's sad when the other person tries to punch him because they're either tired of chasing him and he's just like, okay, you finally caught me. Block, block, block. Like technically perfect blocks. And he's like, okay, there's nothing. And he'll either like give you a pot shot or he actually knows how to hit you.
Yeah.
The man is the highest paid professional boxer for a reason. You don't have to like how he does it.
He flaunts it too, man.
Dude, I would. Like he is.
If you had that type of money?
He's an apex predator. He's an apex predator. He knows it.
That's a good term. No, I don't. I don't know, man. You say that now, but when you actually have that type of money, how would you be and how would it change? That's completely lifestyle change. I mean,
oh yeah,
millions upon millions. I mean, so how do you actually live your life if you have never had that type of money?
Me either.
Maybe I would just.
I'm ready. I can do it.
Yeah,
put me in, coach.
Trust me. Yeah, put me in, coach. I'm ready. But like I say that now, like I know people back in my home. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but I've heard of people that have multi-millions, but they still like basically just dress as a bum and drive like an old Ford Ranger truck, and
right.
They don't show it at all. But is that just because they grew up like, hey, I've never had anything, I'm just gonna keep it that way, or
I had a million different stories, a million different outcomes.
I mean, or is it just like, hey, I need to show off everything I have just to show that I'm well off and I proved myself, which there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there is that, like, let me show how well I'm doing versus how well I'm actually doing versus I think there's a maturity that comes from having money but not having to exploit the fact that you have money and that you live your life in a way that benefits you and benefits those around you but isn't flashy. But there's also a benefit. So let's say your business model is the Kardashians.
Just getting famous off who they are.
So they are famous because they exist, because Ray J threw a bone to one of them and boom, famous. They, I think, wasn't their father the OJ lawyer, one of?
No.
Yeah,
No.
Like, yeah.
Who was the track athlete?
Oh, no, that's Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
Now
that's other
Caitlyn Jenner. Well, married in.
Oh, okay. There we
But,
go. I don't keep up with that pop culture that much.
I mean, I try to keep up a little bit, because
I'm not saying anything
from a
wrong with it.
legitimate business model, they provide nothing other than the idea of wealth and what it can do for you, the idea of beauty and what it can do for you.
Okay.
I think it was Kylie that was the youngest billionaire because she started up a Kickstarter and said, I want to be the youngest billionaire. Boom, 21. Enough people donated to her to make her the youngest billionaire ever.
I mean, what kind of people are donating to that?
The kind of people that are helping produce the sort of culture that allows people. So, you're building your brand. You're doing your YouTube video. You're doing your podcast.
Yeah.
People want to see aspects that they're trying to improve or that they idealize.
Okay.
And the Kardashian business model is, this is a lifestyle that you would like to cultivate. Allow me to show you what that looks like. And you can hate them, you can love them. Doesn't matter. They got enough followers at this point that they're going to do them. But it is the purest form outside of organized religion that sells nothing and garners a great price for it.
Trying to wrap my head around. Like, I just can't imagine, like,
it's crazy, isn't it? Like, they're not offering anyone.
I try to see both sides of it, like, why would I give money to the Kardashians and why would I not? And it's just like, because I want to see what the Kardashians succeed on their, did they have a TV show?
They used to, I think.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's like, why?
I know at some point they had one, and I only keep up with it enough, again, from a business model perspective. I enjoy seeing various business models, how those are built, how those are created, what is the good that is produced and what is the input to produce that good. And the input is simply the I love the Instagram followers. There's actually an Instagram group that is influencers in the wild, and I really like it
I follow
because it's people who are trying to say, look at me, I'm attractive, I'm successful, I'm wealthy, I'm doing what you would like to do, I'm doing the thing. And it's either because it's unattainable to you or it's something that maybe you miss. Like, oh, I went to Bali. I myself have never went to Bali. I'm like, oh,
Same.
I'd like to see some of that. Or it's like, oh, these girls that get these thirst follows, making
like some rent, like OnlyFans or whatever.
OnlyFans, and it's amazing how you can make pretty legitimate money, and it's not so dissimilar from what happened in the 2007 housing crash. So again, I'm going to wrap a little knowledge around this, not to be a creeper. So in 2007, they were doing interviews, 2007 to 9, of women who were in strip clubs.
Okay.
What is your education level? 40 to 60%. And again, I'm kind of pulling these numbers out, so take it with a grain of salt. 40 to 60% of them were post-masters. Like they're either master's level or beyond. They were at least...
Girls working at a strip club had a master's degree in their belt.
Yeah, at least undergrad and working on their master's or had their master's. And it was the housing market had fell. And there was not a way at their age to be able to make the kind of money that they would be able to make that would either allow them to start their own business, pay their bills, or whatever. Or they did it as a side hustle. It's like, look, I'm not having to do anything that I find overly disgusting. People are looking at me. Yeah. People look at me anyways. And it was a very interesting take on that kind of work as to who's doing it, because it's always like, oh, this person has problems. I guess they're going to go and work at the local club. And no, it's
like
actually
daddy issues.
Go work things like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this isn't something that's about issues. This is about $1 for hour gain. And that's something I like to close on. People talk about like, oh, you're spending money. You're like, no, you're spending time. What is your time worth to you? What are you bartering it for? And I think it was either Samuel L. Jackson. It wasn't Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan makes way too much off apparel. But he was saying, you're not wearing, like somebody was like, oh, look at my $50 white polo. I think Kanye was selling those for like $50.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And it's like, you're not wearing a $50 polo. You make $12 an hour. Like you're wearing 5 hours of your life. And when you think about that perspective, it's a big deal.
5 hours of your life. Yeah. I never even thought about it like that. Huh. Makes you think a little bit. So what do you think? So when these girls, like I've been to a few strip clubs in my day, so when they're actually telling you.
I might have seen one from a distance.
So actually when you're telling, or, not telling, when you actually go to these girls and like you're talking to them in the strip club or whatever, and they say like, hey, I'm working on my nursing degree or whatever, they halfway might be actually telling you the truth.
You got to take it with a grain of salt. There's people are in it for all sorts of reasons.
And I know some people will like give them every dollar they have. I've seen it, but still in a fact, like, yeah, I mean, like, kind of how we were talking about earlier, like with education and like, you plan on like, oh yeah, if I make this degree, I'll make this much. And if I get my master's, I'll make more. But when I get out, oh shit, I'm only making $35K a year or whatever. But like if I go I'll just take my bra off and dance around. Get
Swanky's
6 figures a
Club
year.
of Boys, like, I mean, there was, to tell you in my younger days, there was a lady that I saw and she was dancing. I talked to her and I was like, so we're in Vegas. I was like, so how much money you make and where are you from? Like, really? Like, I'm just curious.
Are you living in Vegas?
No, I wasn't living in Vegas at the time. I was just there visiting.
Oh, I've never been there.
Dude.
I've heard good things. Shout out Trevor and James.
It's a place, man.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go there once, twice. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
once.
but go ahead, continue. I didn't mean I was just wondering.
No, it's so she was like, yeah, I live in Florida. I was like, what? She's like, I live in Florida. I was like, that's a 2-hour plane ride. And she's like, yeah, I can come here on the weekends and make enough money. Because Because I was like, are you really in school? And she's like, yeah, I go to like U Miami or whatever. I think yours is like a decade maybe ago because I'm an old fuck at this point. She's like, yeah, I'm going to like, U Miami. And it was lucrative enough for her to do a weekly plane ride. So she paid for her ticket. She paid for her hotel stay in Vegas for her to spend 3 days. She had all her classes done on Thursday, hop on a plane Thursday night, go over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, take the red eye on Sunday, come back to Florida, go to class, paid for everything. Whole thing. Like she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to college, finish out scot-free.
I mean, why not?
That ain't chump change.
No, it's definitely
that's
not.
Legitimate, when you're talking about interest rates and stuff, even at, what is it, like 6-10%? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
depends on where you get it from.
Well, yeah, it depends. Because like when I did my master's degree, I think my interest was like 7%.
Right.
But one thing I found out was that, you can claim bankruptcy on a lot of loans, but not school loans, man. And there's people still like, they get their Social Security docked because they haven't paid off their fucking school loans or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, they went to a prestigious school or whatever, but
what to do for them?
Exactly. At what fucking cost now? Your whatever age and
opportunity cost. Radford taught me one thing in business school. Many things, but the one thing is like opportunity cost. Mm-hmm. And the best illustration of that story was, if you are a lawyer making $50 a year or $50 an hour, not a year, Jesus. So $50 an hour, and you are hosting a dinner party at 6, but you could cook all of the food and prepare it and take a half day, so 4 hours, $200, or you could pay a professional chef $25 an hour to do it for 2 hours, and they would prepare it. Which one is the better value? And a lot of people would say, well, if I pay the chef, I'm spending, $50, maybe more dollars to, buy their services. And it's like, yeah, but if you're a lawyer, you're foregoing $200 at the expense of, $50, $75. So you're losing money. And that, my friend, is the essence of government work.
Bam, brother.
All right. Well, I'll cheers you.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going to hit the high road.
All right. Well,
I'll put a little something in there.
Give me a little. Hold on. Give me a little swig. Taste again for the nightcap.
For the road.
For your road, man. But yeah, cheers me. And hey, man, I appreciate your time.
Likewise.
Health, love, and wealth. All to you, brother.
That's it. Well, since it's on audio, here's to it and to it again. If you ever get to it, don't do it. When you ever get to it, to do it again.
Hey, man. That's what the college we used to dream about.
Mm-hmm.
But again, John, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you talking to me. Appreciate your time. I think it was a good episode, man. It was great. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm hyped, man.
See more of them. We're going to get
no doubt, man.
More people in here.
No doubt. Like, yeah, eventually I plan on having like a 3 or 4 person setup, like trying to get the boys going.
All right.
Yeah, like, just
we'll put a couple screens up, talk shit.
Exactly, man. Like, I'll try to get if we actually want to talk about something, pull it up there. Like, let's actually see. Hold on, bro. And like, let's see if you're fact checked.
Fact check in real time.
Exactly, man. But
I've heard about that. It was very popular this year.
Oh yeah, especially But anyway, again, thank you, man. Thank you. This was fun. I love this.
Yeah, likewise.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Hopefully, and again, this is. You want to tell people how to get at you if they want to?
Yeah.
Big John Dub on Instagram? Or you don't want to put that out there?
Oh, Jesus. What am I on Instagram? Shit. I think it's Big John W7 on Instagram. So.
Good deal, man.
All right, again, no spaces, no nonsense. I've been on there for too long.
Again, well, I don't know how many listeners I got going on. But again, if anyone wants to hit you up more on your world and stuff, man, you'll be back on here. And again, thank you. And I think that's it. I think that's it, man.
Holler.
All right. Goodbye, folks.